Speaking of systemic corruption, the corporate media, as you all know, spent the weeks leading up to the 2020 election doing everything possible to discredit and even get banned from the internet, reporting by the New York Post about the Biden family's profiteering ventures in Ukraine and China by announcing, citing the CIA and 51 intelligence officials, former intelligence officials, that you shouldn't believe any of the New York Post reporting because it was based on a laptop that they purported to have come from Hunter Biden, but was in fact Russian disinformation. We all know now that that was a complete and total lie concocted by the intelligence community that the corporate media ratified because they were petrified with what that reporting might mean for the 2020 election and Joe Biden's chances to defeat Donald Trump. And even as these media outlets have gradually admitted that that laptop was actually fully authentic, none, not one, has retracted those lies they spread leading up to the election. Because they don't care about lies, because lies are actually what they're there to do. Now, just as a reminder, here was Joe Biden being asked in October 2020 about this entire story, and here's how he used those lies from the CIA.
What about the Americans who really today only want me to ask you about Hunter Biden's laptop? How are you going to get them to see that you are fighting for them when they're so dead set against you?
There's nothing to any of that. Nothing to any of that. It's all a smear. Every major outfit, every serious investigator has pointed out that this is a smear. This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. And you may recall, there's also talk about 4 months before there was a similar thing that somebody had, allegedly. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged. I mean, look, my son's an honorable man.
I mean, that's that. That's how, do you see how the system works? The CIA, that's banned from domestic politics, according to Joe Biden, said this was Russian disinformation. Then the media goes and repeats it. Then when Biden's asked about it, he says every credible media outlet has said that this is fake. This is a smear tactic. This is Russian disinformation. If anyone cared at all about disinformation or integrity in our reporting and our elections, every person associated with that, spreading that lie, would have been fired. Everyone, but not one person has. Because people want disinformation in these institutions who claim that they oppose it. We've had media outlets confirm the authenticity, and here, as one of the best reporters on this story, Miranda Devine, who actually works at the New York Post, noted yesterday, in new court filing today, the DOJ confirms Hunter Biden's laptop is real, that he left it at a computer store, and that the contents match what they obtained from a search warrant on his iCloud. Don't hold your breath for a retraction from Joe Biden, who said, quote, it's a Russian plant. The Dirty 51, meaning the 51 intelligence agents who signed onto a letter endorsing that lie, or myriad dishonest media operatives. They blame Russia when the Bidens knew it was Hunter, and so did the FBI. And here's what the DOJ filing said. This is a DOJ filing a affidavit in the case of Hunter Biden's criminal investigation for a bunch of charges related to tax evasion and fraud in obtaining a gun license. They filed a document in court saying the following, quote, while investigating the defendants for tax violations, investigators obtained evidence showing his prior gun purchase was illegal because he was addicted to controlled substances. Quote, in August 2019, IRS and FBI investigators obtained a search warrant for tax violations for the defendant's Apple iCloud account. In response to that warrant, in September 2019, Apple produced backups of data from various of the defendant's electronic devices that he had backed up to his iCloud account. Investigators also came into possession of the defendant's Apple MacBook Pro, which he had left at a computer store. A search warrant was also obtained for his laptop, and the results of the search were largely duplicative of information investigators had already obtained from Apple. So not only did the FBI know that the laptop was authentic at a time when the CIA and former agents and the media and Twitter and Facebook were all saying it was Russian disinformation, then banning it on that basis, but the story of how that laptop came into the possession first of that laptop owner and then ultimately to Rudy Giuliani was exactly what the New York Post said that it was, which was that Hunter Biden had left it at a laptop store in Rhode Island, in Delaware rather, to be repaired, and never went and picked it up. Every part of that New York Post story was true. And yet, almost every media outlet, including the one to which I belonged at the time, The Intercept, ratified the CIA lie that this laptop was Russian disinformation. And to this very day, not a single one of them, even now that the Biden Justice Department is admitting that that whole thing was a lie, has retracted their story or confronted what they did. I know I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about this again. It is such irrefutable proof that these media outlets don't get stories wrong. They lie on purpose. They lie on purpose. And they work in conjunction with the U.S. security state to do so with the specific intent of manipulating the outcome of our elections. If you don't think that's coming over the next 9 months or 10 months, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to have a lot of these kinds of manipulations and deceit, especially if Donald Trump ends up as the nominee. Thanks for watching this clip from System Update, our live show that airs every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rumble. You can catch the full nightly shows live or view the backlog of episodes for free on our Rumble page. You can also find full episodes the morning after they air across all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple. All the information you need is linked below. We hope to see you there.